Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Functional Medicine with me, Dr. Howard Robbins. Uh, as you can see, I just came back from lecturing in Florida. For the past several weeks, I've been lecturing at the Anti-Appleseed Project, which is an alternative therapy cancer meeting. I lectured at the American Academy of Stem Cell Physicians um, because of ozone's benefits, which is going to be very important for you to understand for this particular series of shows that we're going to be doing. I want to thank my sponsors right now while I'm having sponsors. The first and very important one is Promolife. Promolife makes something that many of you may want to get after you hear about this show. Home care ozone generators, where you could be doing rectal insufflation, which, believe it or not, can help you, an ozone enema, help you regrow your hair, as you're going to learn about that as part of it all. Uh, if you listen to, and I'm going to be going through this pretty quickly. My thank yous to the sponsors is if you've listened to some of our past podcasts, because it's part of the answer for these problems. And if you call them at 888-742-3404, best thing to do, tell them you want to get set up for home care ozone therapy. You heard about it here on the show. They'll do something wonderful and special for you. They'll give you a percentage off or throw something in for free, whatever they'll do. Each week it's different. And then, as you're going to want to learn and about the importance of this in hair loss, is you because of the uh, gut, skin, and hair axis, as it's called, you're going to want to go to doctorsbiome.com. That's DOCTORSBIOME. Sounds like biome, but doctorsbiome.com. And put in the code radio 20. In fact, you can put in the code Howard 35. With Howard 35, you'll always get 10% off. Radio 20 will get you 20% off your first order. But if you want to keep getting 20% off, go on auto ship. Now you'll get 10% off with the code Howard35, and auto ship buys you another 10% off. Now, why do you want to do this? Because Doctor's Biome is a very special probiotic beverage that actually survives the stomach over 90%, whereas capsule powders and tablets are destroyed over 90%. And then they're created to stick to the wall of your gut. And by doing that, they repair the wall of the gut. And as you're going to understand later on, how important this is in preventing and in growing hair. Okay, believe it or not. And that's why they call it the gut skin hair axis. Remember to use the code radio20 the first time, and then you could use my patient coupon code Howard35 thereafter, along with auto ship, and you'll continue to get 20% off the retail price. Okay, the reason I'm not emphasizing both my sponsors is because later on in this show or next week's show, if I can't complete this week, there'll be a part two, because we're going to be talking about hair loss, baldness, which is what is known as alopecia. Whenever you're losing hair or you've lost your hair, it's called alopecia. Millions of people suffer from hair loss. Over the years, your hair may become thin, or you may start losing clumps of it. Ends may start breaking off, may not be as, you know, beautiful and full and lustrous as it once was when you were younger. And it's not just women who experience this, but men who experience bald spots. Women experience bald spots also. You can get patchiness in the growth of your hair. You can get a receding hairline. Today, a lot of men have just taken to shaving their heads. It's become almost in vogue to shave your head completely rather than deal with short hair or loss of hair. It isn't necessary to do that, however. It isn't necessary to do that, however, to um, fix your problem and prevent it from happening in the first place. Um, you can get actually not just hair loss on your head, but you can get hair loss all over your body. Eyebrows and facial hair may start diminishing and thinning out. Women have that a lot. Um, see that a lot happening. Um, and of course, your hair starts to change in color and turn white. Now, I'm 77. And for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you can see not only do I have a full head of hair, my hair is relatively pretty dark for my age. And a lot of it is because of the things that I've done. So you're going to want to know the things that I've done and why my hair keeps growing so full and fast. Okay. Yeah, I have a little silver here, throughout my hair. My wife loves the salt in my hair, but most of my hair is pepper. Most of my hair is dark. And it isn't just by chance because in my family, and you go genetically to your mother's father, but even go both sides, no one had full heads of dark hair. And I'm the only one that seems to, and it's obviously because of all the things that I've done over the years. Now, some people like their hair turning white, particularly if they retain a full head of it. That's okay by me. Everybody's entitled to whatever look they want. And I'm certainly not going to be dyeing my hair to try to keep it darker. I'll age gracefully, as I like to put it. But other people, particularly young people, are very unhappy with this. And that's why I said, while men can shave their heads, women aren't ready to do that for the most part. Some women have. Some women have. And I have a very good patient and friend Annie, who has done so. And she's a very attractive, exciting, intelligent woman. But most women are very upset about losing their hair. So what are the causes? Let's start getting right into things because there's just so much to talk. You think this is a simple subject that would be very easy to discuss and talk. Oh my God, is it complex? I even had to do some homework on it so that I stay up on some of the latest things. So losing your hair doesn't necessarily come from a single cause in most cases. It can be a sign or a symptom of many different problems in your body. Sometimes it's seasonal, okay? Sometimes it's from a traumatic event, a surgery, or perhaps a new medication, or even a vaccination. There's studies that have been published, well, not so much studies, but case reports showing how various vaccinations, particularly the one that you can't mention on YouTube, begins with the letter C. And those mRNA vaccinations have caused people within a week of doing it to lose hair almost and completely. Um, so there's just so many different causes of it that it becomes very, very interesting. Also, there's medications that can cause hair loss. Various psychotropic drugs and tricyclic antidepressants have an effect on hair growth and can, as an adverse effect, cause you to lose it. When they use TNF, tumor necrosis factor, for long periods of time, for example, in Crohn's disease in patients with psoriasis, they've been known to have dramatic hair loss take place. So most important, it's always important to try to figure out what the main cause of your hair loss is. Um, there are, just so you have some basics for this, there are like three phases of hair growth. First is the anagen phase, and this is called the growth phase of hair, and it can last for many years, 7 years, up to 7 years, or even more in some cases. And that's why I believe it can last even longer when you're doing all the right things. This is where your hair keeps growing and it stays lustrous and it's full and thick and everything else. You don't deal with split ends and all these other issues that they sell hair products to try to help. Okay. So it can last from various lengths of time. And then you go into the catagen phase. In a catagen phase, sort of like a transition phase. And this can last for a period of time. And then you go into the telogen phase, the resting phase. And these all have various time frames. And then, of course, the hair may fall out and a new hair grows that goes into the anagen phase again. So keep in mind that the medical term for hair loss is alopecia. And there are medical forms of alopecia, okay, that are more serious. I mean, you can get seasonal hair shedding. Seasonal hair shedding is natural and it's not related to traditional medically induced alopecia. It's just based on the time of year. Um, you may get hair stopping to grow or starting to thin out. Um, Hair grows, for example, stronger in the winter months than it does in the summer months. Well, think about it. It was designed originally to help protect our body from losing heat in the winter. And of course, you want to keep cooler in the summer. So you have less hair growth, technically speaking, though not in some people. My hair grows like crazy all the time. But then I've done things to make that happen. Okay. Um, Now, you can have hormonal changes in your hair that can cause changes in hair growth and hair patterns. Some of this is um, particularly like male pattern baldness and whatnot, has to do and is related to hormones and aging. And at least half, 50% of all the men are going to, have this, and as much as 50% of women also by the age of 50 are going to start to see hair changes and hair problems. So I remember meeting Philip Kingsley, and he was the eminent trichologist from England. And he was at one of these Gary Knoll meetings that I've lectured at. And Philip, a brilliant man, and he came up with all sorts of wonderful ways of treating hair and making it healthy. And in fact, I'm going to be giving you one of his basic formulas. It's going to be a little bit surprising on how to moisturize your hair in a very healthy way and save you fortunes of money on hair products. Um, Now, the medical problems that relate to this. So again, you could have heredity before I get into some of the medical things. Um, Heredity, natural part of aging caused by genetics. Obviously, I beat the genetics. That's why I don't buy into that particular theory that it's heredity, that it's going to do that to you. I do believe it has a factor, but it can be reversed. And that's what we're looking to try and do here with these shows, is tell you how to reverse your heredity so you don't have to look like your mom's dad. And then hormonal changes. Many people, particularly women, go from menopause, into, as an issue where that can be causing problems. or they can have a baby and lose their hair. Many hormonal changes in a person's body, and as a man gets older, his testosterone levels start to diminish. So all those things can cause this to happen. There are various medical conditions that cause it, and thyroid problems, for example, hypothyroid, you start losing your hair, um, and um, and autoimmune disease in particular. And with autoimmune disease, we have to talk about, I guess there's no way not to, alopecia areata. This is a very common autoimmune disease that causes sudden hair loss, as well as could be complete hair loss, called alopecia totalis. And that's basically hair loss on the scalp, or but it can also, in alopecia areata, cause hair loss on other parts of your body. Now, I happen to have a genetic form of hair loss. I got it from my mom's dad. I have no hair on my legs. I never had much, and completely gone. And I know that I have good circulation. That's not the problem. And I got great hair on my head. So why? There's where genetics can come in and play a role. Some people have very hairy bodies and some people don't. Dihydrotestosterone, um, and the amount that you have can also affect your hair growth and the amount of hair growth that you have. DHT. I made up a joke years ago. I had a woman that men are supposed to do 50 milligrams a day of DHT to maintain their testosterone level. Of course, it's the precursor to testosterone. Women need testosterone also, and women are supposed to do DHT as well. But 25 milligrams. So I had a patient that came in one day crying hysterically, and she said, she's been doing 500 milligrams, not 25 milligrams of DHT every day, and she started to grow hair on her chest. I go, okay, it's not so terrible. Says, yeah, but it goes all the way down to my testicles. That's an original Robbins joke. You're supposed to laugh. In any case, um, yes, hormonal changes can have an effect, and when you're taking supplements like DHT, you have to do it in the right amounts, but you have to be able to absorb them. That's the key. And I know many people, it's very upsetting. For men, they just shave their heads, but women don't want to shave their heads. And we've been talking about alopecia. And one other type of alopecia that I did leave out is called alopecia universalis, I believe. This is a very severe form where the hair loss is total across your entire body. You lose your eyelashes, your eyebrows, just everything. And it comes in various things. I mean, there's one called ophiasis, I think if it's pronounced. It's like a band-like shape around the circumference of your head. And Ciasifo, which is extensive alopecia around the periphery of your scalp, except around the periphery of your scalp, I think that is. So there's many different things. Medications, as I said before. You can get patchy hair loss at various places on your body. And for a man, if you have patchy hair loss and you have a lot of body hair, it can look kind of weird if you go to the beach or whatever. I can go on and on with all the different types of hair loss, but alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease. That's the key thing to understand. It's an autoimmune disease that causes this hair loss, and it's not just simple hair loss. Uh, and of course, these other types that I've mentioned also um, can be autoimmune related. Um, Alopecia barbae is a person who has patchy hair loss just in their beard. I've noticed that. Stress-induced. It's a stress-induced, I have that happen in my past. A stress-induced form of alopecia. So it gets complicated, but here's the key thing to understand. Hair can grow back. Some people who lose their hair regrow it, and some never have it regrow. It's easier to regrow hair when you have, you've just lost small patches. And and when I say this is common, it's been estimated that over 7 million people just here in the USA, and if you go worldwide, you're dealing in millions, many millions more, have alopecia areata alone, which is autoimmune disease. And when you add on all the other people, you probably find, probably in nature of probably about 40 or 50 million at least suffer from hair loss at a young age. At an older age, it could be even worse. Now, once you get alopecia areata, your hair starts to fall out in patches usually. That's how you kind of know what kind of hair loss you're getting, is by the nature of it. You start to lose clumps, maybe the size of a quarter or a half a dollar, U.S. change, but it can be bigger or smaller. There is no set thing. You might even get dents or pits in your scalp. Um, um, when you're dealing with alopecia, also your nails may become coarse or even gritty, feel like sandpaper. They don't have that smooth quality to them. It is my opinion that most of this is this alopecia, these forms of alopecia areata, autoimmune, are related to stress and anxiety and depression. And that's why you're going to understand why the gut becomes so important in this, in healing this and in helping to regrow the hair. When you have alopecia, you may get, though not commonly, itching. You may see your hair change in color, not just to white, but to red or purple, brown, not just gray or white. You might get visible openings in your hair follicles. That's something I remember now. You may start growing just short little stubble pieces of hair, which is along with white hairs. And that's why a lot of people just wind up shaving their heads and whatnot, or shaving their beards off if you like to have a beard. Okay. Some of it has been, and that's why you're going to understand ozone therapy, its importance here, have been, the belief is that foreign invaders like bacteria and viruses, or even parasites or fungus, cause infection, illness, and disease. These can cause this. I have a patient in just now, which is what stimulated this show. And she has, without a doubt, Lyme disease, and she also has alopecia in her scalp on one side of her head. And I believe Lyme disease caused this to happen in her. So there's lots of different triggers, and that's the thing that I wanted you to understand. Lots of different triggers that can cause all this to happen. I'm going to try to finish this show if I can in just one show. There's so much stuff to teach you and tell you about. Now, let's start with why you need a healthy gut. I'm going to be telling you about all the different supplements that you could take that can help with gut, that can help in hair growth. But what if you don't have a healthy gut? If you don't have a healthy gut, how are you going to absorb all these things? So you need to rebalance your gut microbiome. Now, if you have any kind of digestive disorder, inflammatory bowel disease, or any of the digestive diseases, it's going to definitely lead to hair loss because you're not going to be able to absorb healthy nutrients. Think about stress. There's the gut brain axis, it's called. So the gut actually, if you don't have a healthy gut, you can lead to depression and anxiety in the brain. Now, I believe that the predominant reason for that, because the gut communicates with the brain, is that you're not getting the chemicals, the nutrients you need to be absorbed into your blood to help your brain create the chemicals it needs to stay balanced. Now, healthy gut connects to skin. It's called the gut-skin axis. And if you look carefully enough in the literature, the gut-hair axis, because hair is just part of your skin. So if you want to have healthy skin, healthy nails, and healthy hair, you have to have a healthy gut. It's kind of interesting that this communication takes place, but it sure as heck does. Now, there was a study from 2020 that found that people with the androgenetic alopecia, when they took probiotics, okay, they improved their hair count and their hair thickness. You're going to find, if you look carefully enough in the medical literature, that there's more than one study showing the importance of this. Because you could be eating all the right foods, you could be on a complete organic diet, raw food diet, okay? You could be taking all the right supplements, but if you don't have a healthy gut, how are you going to absorb it? And why don't you have a healthy gut? If you've had an antibiotic even once in your lifetime, if you eat red meat or chicken that isn't organic or farm-raised fish, then you're going to suffer from killing off all the good boys in your gut. And you have to replenish the good boys in your gut to have a healthy gut wall. Yeah, I know you eat, you drink kefir and you drink kombucha and you eat yogurt. And if you eat the best forms of those things, you will get one or two or three different probiotics, mostly in the acidophilus group. And they're like fingers, they're called rods. They basically aid digestion. They don't stick to the wall of the gut. It's the various bifidobacteria that can actually stick to the wall of the gut and make a very big difference in these problems. That's why Doctor's Biome is so important, because it has 15 patented strains of next generation probiotics created to survive the stomach over 90%, as well as sticking to the wall of the gut, because they're called smart probiotics. They didn't go to Harvard, but they were created to be able to do that. And that's why it becomes such an important product for everybody to take on a daily basis. And one patient recently asked me, he's an older man in his 80s, and he's having a problem. And why do I have to take this every day? Shouldn't it just work if I take it a few times? Unfortunately, we eat and drink food and liquids that, whether you like it or not, are loaded with bad bacteria, as well as other things. And while some are destroyed by the saliva in your mouth and others by the acid in your stomach, much of these harmful pathogens can survive and reach the wall of your gut and live there. Now, if you have healthy probiotics in the wall of your gut, they fight and they kill off this bad junk, as I like to call it. And by killing off that junk, it can make a major difference in whether or not you have a healthy gut and can absorb everything or not. Okay, so the first thing is, before I tell you all the supplements you can take, the first thing to do to grow more hair is get a healthy gut again. And it may take you a month or two to reestablish a healthy gut with Doctor's Biome. You could speed it up if you go to the medical food version of it, okay? Because it just has more of everything in it. Unfortunately, if you're taking pharmaceuticals, there are various pharmaceuticals that come as a adverse effect hair loss. So you're just going to have to expect that. Um, you're fighting a battle that hopefully you'll win, but ultimately you might lose if you're taking various pharmaceuticals. Um, it's important to find out um, if you're taking a particular pharmaceutical, ask your doctor, or more importantly, look it up yourself and find out if it relates to hair loss. If you notice that you're starting to lose your hair while you're on various pharmaceutical medications. Now, fortunately, there are many natural treatments which are obviously safer. Um, So, first of all, once you get that healthy gut, now you can start to consider taking um, supplements that are of the highest quality. You want them to be of vegan origin, non-GMO'd, of course, hopefully derived from organic grown food ingredients. Certainly, you don't want synthetic vitamins and mineral supplements. It's just important to be careful. Nothing cheap is good and nothing good is cheap is said for a reason. And cheap can be expensive. If you're trying to save money on supplements, it could be a big mistake. You just won't get the benefit of it because all supplements have to be bioabsorbable. That means you have a healthy gut and you can absorb them into your blood. Then they have to be bioavailable. That means all the cells in your body, and in this case, your hair cells, your hair follicles, your skin, can uptake them. And then they have to be bioutilizable. They have to have a way, an ability to be utilized by your body to actually make a difference. So let's start going into what you should be doing. Vitamin A. Now you want to take up to 10,000 IUs daily. Um, some people need more. And the reason I believe some people need more is they don't have a healthy gut. I'm not a big fan of mega dosing of vitamins. I did that many, many years ago, found no benefits from it. Uh, the detriment part was it cost a lot of extra money, and I don't know that it was all that important. Your B complex vitamins. Thiamine B1 and riboflavin B2 and niacin B3, pantothenic acid B5, B6, biotin, folate, which is B7, folate, and are all very important. And unfortunately, vitamin B12 is very hard to get, particularly if you're a vegan like me. I haven't eaten meat or chicken in 45 years. I stopped in 1980, and I'm pretty healthy, and I have a tremendous energy level. There's where you need methylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin. Cobalamin is B12. Cyanocobalamin, which you're going to find and you can take orally, is virtually near worthless. So when it's in a supplement, I find it's just somebody throwing it in because they want you to think you're taking everything, but you're getting nothing. Okay? So B12, probably the best thing is to get shots of B12 if you're losing your hair, but make sure the doctor is giving you methylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin. And it may turn your urine a little pink in color, and that's how you know you're really absorbing it. Okay? Biotin is very important deficiency, and you need to get at least 30 micrograms of biotin a day to help with all this. And biotin lately has gotten a lot of attention because they talk about how important it is in hair growth. So 30 micrograms a day of biotin is really all that you really need to do uh, to maintain a healthy level of it. So once again, B12 very safe. I do weekly shots of it, which is why I might have one of the main reasons why I might have such dark hair still, because it's been proven by studies to help in prevent the premature whitening or graying of hair. Okay. And you need at least 500 micrograms. Because it's so low in toxicity, you're going to use what you need and your body will diminish the rest. When people come to our clinic, I actually give them a dose of not 500 micrograms, but 5,000 micrograms. They get 5,000 micrograms for the same price people are charging fees for the cyanocobalamin, which should absolutely be avoided. It's absolutely worthless. Okay. Vitamin C. Well, we've done shows on vitamin C. Once again, vitamin C is not just a vitamin. It's necessary in every cell of your body for every cellular healthy reaction. Let's try and understand this. You need two things to make energy: nutrients and oxygen. The oxygen burns up the nutrients and creates what's called ATPs, the adenosine triphosphate energy molecules. Cells need energy to do three things. One, stay alive. Makes sense. I'm sure you understand that. Two, make another one. Okay. And another cell reduplicate itself when it's ready to die. And last, and very much not least, do its job. Now, what does a hair cell have to do? Basically, a hair follicle, a hair cell, has to stay alive longer. That's the anagenic stage. Then it has to grow its job and take melanin in and make its color. Okay, whatever the natural color is, and then make a new one when it's ready to die and replenish itself with another hair cell. If you're not making enough energy, you can't do these three things. If you're not getting enough nutrients to the cell, it can't do these things. Now, if the nutrients are delivered, and that's where I'm going to talk about ozone in a minute, if nutrients are delivered and oxygen is delivered, then you need vitamin C in every cell to help create these energy molecules. So a lack of vitamin C is a problem, because while you can get it naturally from food, you can't really absorb as much as you need from foods. And that's why taking a supplement becomes so valuable. And that's why all my patients take a vitamin C supplement of 500 to 3,000 milligrams at least every 2 hours. Yes, that's right. That's 5 or 6 times every day while you're awake. Because it acts as not only as a vitamin, but as a mediator, a coenzyme, a mediator to create all these healthy processes in your body. And so absolutely essential in creating hair growth. Now, why you want to get hold of Promolife at promolife.com or call them at 888-742-3404 is you can do ozone home care. Ozone therapy home care is where you make bags filled with the oxygen and ozone gas, and you do a very simple process, and we've done shows on ozone home care, called rectal insufflation. It's an ozone enema. Now, a small amount will be absorbed into your blood. This is a way to avoid having problems, a preventive way of treating hair loss. And now by absorbing a small amount, what does it do? It makes the red blood cells rounder, so they flow smoother, easier, less viscous. It makes them more flexible, so they can slip through narrowed, clogged, or hardened arteries better. So it's stimulating blood circulation into your scalp, as well as the skin and everywhere in your body. Another way to stimulate the blood flow in, of course, is massage. And massaging your scalp each day, if you have a problem with hair growth or hair loss, is very wonderful and very beneficial. Besides, it feels good. So rectal insufflation, okay, is a way to help in the stimulation of hair growth. So now you have a healthy gut. You're absorbing these nutrients. I'm going to give you plenty more that you want to take every day that have been shown to help with this problem. And of course, ozone. So now you're delivering it. In addition, and I shouldn't leave this out, ozone allows the mitochondria. These are the organelles in your cells that take oxygen up and help create your ATPs, your energy molecule. They increase the ability of the mitochondria to uptake more oxygen. Thus, you make more ATPs. Thus, your hair cells will grow healthier and more plentiful. So, ozone therapy can help tremendously. IV ozone therapy is necessary when we're dealing with alopecia areata, totalis, or universalis, or related to a disease like Lyme or something else, or hypothyroid, because there's where we can actually help overcome these diseases and conditions. Now, most people suffer from vitamin D deficiency, very important to hair growth. So you want to take vitamin D3, and you could take several thousand milligrams of this every single day. It is not the toxic vitamin that people had once thought it was, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. Keep in mind that you need to take vitamin K as well to absorb your vitamin D. And there are many products that come with D and D3 and K combinations, so you're going to get all that as well. Vitamin E, highly necessary for hair growth. Probably best to take the mixed tocopherols. Tocopherol is vitamin E. Mixed, I think it's tocotrienols, but tocopherols for most people is what you know. And you want to take at least 100 milligrams of mixed tocopherols every day. Provided you have a healthy gut, you'll absorb it. Iron deficiency is an extreme contributor to hair loss. And, past our grandparents and great-grandparents used iron skillets when they did the cooking. When you're scraping with metal utensils, hopefully not aluminum, okay, you scrape off some of this iron, and the ferrous, which is what iron, a name for iron is, can come out into the food, and this is how you would get some of your iron supplement. Today, many people walk around with iron deficiency, and you need adequate amounts of vitamin C to absorb iron. Ferrous fumarate might be still considered one of the better forms to take. Unfortunately, many forms of iron can cause constipation. Ferrous fumarate seems to cause less of it. Selenium, another trace mineral, 55 micrograms a day is recommended with hair loss. Plays a role in preventing premature graying. Studies have shown that as well. Copper is necessary, but no more than 1 milligram daily. So be careful when you're taking trace minerals, and if you're going to take a copper supplement, no more than 1 milligram daily. There are companies selling copper in liquid forms. You got to be very careful with those, with copper. Pycnogenol comes from pine bark, and you want to take some pycnogenol, like 50 milligram doses 3 times a day. That could be very beneficial in preventing hair loss and in helping improve the density of your hair. Oral capsaicin Another way, another herb that you can take, um, that comes from hot peppers. Um, and you may want to take 6 to 8 milligrams of oral capsaicin a day. Isoflavones, 75 to 100 milligrams a day. You get that from non-GMO organic soy. And one big study showed that it increased regrowth of hair in a majority of the volunteers in that study. Ginger, it's an important supplement to take, or you can just eat some fresh ginger, particularly with alopecia areata. It's been very beneficial to do that. Turmeric, okay. Cucuma longa has been found to improve skin conditions, including alopecia, okay. These are the things you can do. Now, acupuncture has been shown to be beneficial. Okay. Reducing stress through meditation has been shown to be beneficial um, in regrowing hair. Uh, Philip Kingsley, I'm going to try to get everything in on this show. Philip Kingsley used to make up in a wonderful hair moisturizer and conditioner, I guess they call it. And basically, it was mayonnaise. Yes. He would look up a recipe for mayonnaise. You'll see how you have to just, make it. But basically with this, all you're going to be using is organic extra virgin olive oil and a little bit of organic vinegar. Okay. And when you hydrogenate it, when you whip it, it mixes up into what we call, that's the basics of mayonnaise. And he would apply that to your hair and you would have a healthier hair from it. Okay. You let it lay in for 5 or 10 minutes. You may want to apply some heat to help put it in, keep it in better for a period of 5 or 10 minutes. And then you rinse it out. You wash it out. Okay. So the key is also and I guess one of the things to mention is, I didn't really mention much, is things to avoid. EMFs are very damaging to our bodies in general. Air pollution is damaging. EMFs are damaging. I wear shungite, which I believe is absolutely, it's a little shungite crystal that I have around my neck. I have all my computers and televisions and routers protected by chunks of shungite. Comes from Shunga, Russia. And shungite is a good way to neutralize EMFs. It's probably why my house has an absolute terrible cell zone. And yet all around my house, it's pretty interesting and amazing. Fresh juices can also increase hair growth because of all the phytonutrients and chemicals, particularly the green juices. You could put ginger in it as well. These are all wonderful things that you can do to help in regrowing hair. In addition to intravenous ozone therapy for the more serious medical conditions, which we do in our office in the city. And by the way, if you want to reach us, call me at 212 581 0101. That's 212 581 0101. Once again, Promolife is PROMOLIFE.com, and you can reach them at 888-742-3404, 888-742-3404, and tell them you heard about it here on Dr. Robbins' show, and what can they do for you? What's the special this week? You can also go to Doctor's Biome, DOCTORS, all spelled out, Doctor's Biome, BIOME.com, and use the code radio20 to get 20% off your first order, and then Howard35 and auto ship to continue that 20% off, or just Howard35 and get 10% off. That's up to you. Okay? You won't be sorry. That comes with a 100% money back guarantee. So you can't possibly go wrong with that. It's absolutely delicious. Children can take it and use it. That's what's so wonderful for them, because it's absolutely delicious. You drink 1 2-ounce shot a day. That's all. Everybody, I hope I was able to cover in just one show all the important things that you should know about vitamins and supplements and whatnot to deal with hair loss. There's so many more things to say, eliminating dairy, eliminating meat, eliminating caffeine and alcohol, sugar and artificial sweeteners. You want to basically eliminate all the unhealthy things. But in any case, if you have any questions about all this, give us a call at the office, 212-581-0101. Everybody stay well, stay healthy, and we'll be back again next week with another brand new episode of Functional Medicine with Dr. Robbins. Bye now.